Call of the Dawn is a closed community roleplay game, which, trust me, even though it's an RP, this game is extremely addictive and unique to most other Roblox games. The combat is based off fighting game for those who played it. So, addressing the elephant in the room, no, this is not Regular Age, but I assure you my video will be out soon. It took around 45 hours to film, and it probably will take that long to edit. Anyways, a basic explanation of the lore is 1. Most players started in the cave after a war between two factions known as the Oculi Empire and Stun Syndicate broke out. 2. My race is Chronos, we control time and come from the stars. And 3. The caves have a system of power displayed through knights and priests, which players can join, and they can move up to ranks through these powers. So, without further ado, let's get to the video. Starting off, me and a couple other townspeople were introduced to Hydrus. He's the captain of the Knight's Order, and he sent us on our first mission, which was to go mining. Now, what made this interesting is that Hydrus actually mentioned that we might be able to find an old trinket or something special when we're mining. This was a boring experience. I did manage to introduce myself to some of the other people, and randomly they chose Polaris, Lambert, and Renz to be the ones who found whatever we were looking for, which happened to be a gem. Now, Hydra said that this gem could be traded in for merits, which I'll explain later on. But we got randomly interrupted by Rio, saying that there was an intruder at the gate. Now, unfortunate news struck when Rio mentioned that it was an Oculi. Now, the Oculi are way stronger than us, and they're the whole reason that we're hiding in this cave in the first place. However, thankfully, this Oculi was extremely weak and they were already defeated by the time he arrived. With the Oculi defeated, the captain gave us a choice of what to do with them. On the left bridge, you would stand to kill them. In the middle, you would stand to sacrifice them to Lumen, and I think on the right, you would stand to spare them. However, Sarek proposed that we should rip the Oculi's eyes out and keep them for later. As you can see here, I think he had like some sort of sick, twisted pleasure out of it, and it shows later on. Personally, I thought it was kind of messed up, so I proposed that we should either just kill them or spare them straight up, because ripping their eyes out and forcing them to live like that is diabolical. However, the deed was already done, unfortunately, but the eyes were spread up between Sarek and Renz, and I could trade them in for 1 merit each. Now it was finally time for Hydrus to explain to us what merits did. He said they could be traded in for weapons, armor, or maybe even like a small favor. Basically, it was a universal currency within the caves. After this, I asked the captain how I could get knowledge of the outside world, and he told me that I could use 1 merit to do so, which I had not earned yet. Later on, Hydrus let us ask a couple more questions. I asked him, what's the difference between the Knights and the Church? He said the Knights defend the land and the Church focuses specifically on religious matters. I followed up by asking which faction would give me more knowledge, and he said the Church would probably give me more knowledge, but if I went with the Knights, I could fight, and I could get practical knowledge from him. Directly after this, I actually met 2 more Chrono named Clark and Polaris. I asked Clark a little bit about the outside world, if he wanted to go out there, what his goals were, and everything like that. Basically just some small talk. But after this, Sarek caused this Oculi to accidentally kill themselves, and I didn't think that was right. On top of that, he started talking shit about our race, and I wasn't about to let that disrespect go unpunished. Anyways, it was time for battle. Now, Sarek was quick to jump to combat for a solution. He pulled his blade out and started threatening me. It was actually Polaris that initiated the combat by trying to hit Sarek back, accidentally knocking Pi off, but we'll see why he survived later. After this, Sarek started the combat by hitting me with his blade. That was the final straw for me, and I decided it was time to fight. However, Fear became another opponent because he just hopped in to defend Sarek for whatever reason. Now, I wasn't doing half bad for being in combat against 2 people, and I was actually putting in quite a bit of work. Was this the end? No. I felt something warm grab me and pull me back up from the cold abyss. It was my captain, Hydrus, of course. He saved me, and I suffered a minor leg injury that could be quickly fixed. Now it was time to fight to join the Order of the Knights. Me and John ended up having to fight Hydra since we were the last people to go, and he decided to give us a special challenge. I also want to preface that I was 250 ping in this fight, and I was also fighting with a LARP broken leg, so give me some slack here, guys. Now, after Hydra sent me flying back to my spawn point, John actually put up a pretty good fight, but I'm going to cut out the video because it was actually very, very long. And, excitingly enough, with the power of friendship, me and John were able to prevail and join a Knights Order. After this, the PD ended, but now it was time for the newly initiated Knights to go on their first mission. I also apologize to Clark, because he didn't get to fight at all. Now, I can't remember exactly what happened, guys, but I think there might have been a PD before this, actually, and I just know that I had a broken leg, and now I had to go on a mission outside the caves with a broken leg. Yes, that's right. We were going outside the caves for the first time as Knights, and this part gets insane and pretty deadly. As you can see, Hydra's mentioned, our mission is to go outside and get food for the people in the caves, and some other resources as well, because we're pretty broke. Yeah, we're basically going to be robbing a nearby town. I was actually really excited for it to be my first time to leave the caves, but we didn't know there was trouble brewing right around the corner. Somehow Hydrus was like the only person who noticed that there was an Oculi standing right there, and we eventually saw him and he noticed us pretty quickly. Now, since Fear knew that at least one of us had been spotted, he decided to go out and sacrifice himself for the group, and this action did not go unpunished by the Oculi. Now, after Fear was literally drop-kicked into a building, we decided to go out and surround the Oculi to interrogate him. Also, we were literally told that the key to this PD was ore farming, so that's why I'm acting so tough. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say things were going smoothly before this happened, but the dumbass Sarek literally decided to show an eye of the Oculi to him, and that caused him to get riled up and dropkick us. Now, even with a broken leg, I was beating this Oculi grunt's ass, alongside, you know, everybody else, of course. Alone, I definitely could have done this, but this guy was still a grunt, dude. He fell to his knees pretty easily, but this wasn't the end of the fight. Yeah, so this motherfucker got up a second time, and trust me, it wasn't the last time either. Finally, after this thorough ass beating, he decided to take us to the town's resources, and Hydrus was giving him loads of crap too. So here, while he's searching through the loot, he found a golden apple. Yeah, I wish I was joking, but apparently this is in lore. You can sacrifice your life to basically power up, and this dude definitely did power up, because he was back with some crazy specs. Sarek, being the absolute fraud he was the first to get knocked down. No, your eyes do not deceive you. A second Oculi joined the fight, but thankfully Kin dropped right before this and, well, he died due to exhaustion. But, as I was trying to grip him, this happened. Now, believe it or not, this Oculi was much stronger and much faster, wielding the abilities of a trained martial artist and lightning. Also, I'm not gonna lie, this motherfucker was beating my ass! Also, for some weird reason, this guy wanted me fucking dead. But eventually, like the other Oculi, he fell to the ground and was finally defeated. And now it was time for us to reap our rewards. Finally, it was time to head home with my newly obtained combat experience and nice short sword, which later got voided for a katana. And with that, the first adventure comes to an end. If you guys want to see more, let me know. I think this game is awesome. You guys should go support it. The Discord's going to be linked in the description below, and I can maybe get some of you guys set up, so just DM me on Discord. See you guys later. Also, if you made it this far through, I want to thank you so much for watching, and if you liked it that much, please drop a subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye.